Okay, what's up? We are live. Welcome to the live broadcast. Today we're going to be talking about how to date attractive women. So, this webinar is for you if you've been stuck not getting the results you want with women and you're feeling frustrated and you're wondering, you're bumping up against an invisible wall and you're trying all these things and they're not working and you're wondering why. Well, today I'm going to show you the 5 steps, the 5 strategies that you need to implement in your life in order to get unstuck and start dating women that you're truly attracted to. So, before we start, I'm just going to do a few tests. So, if you can hear me, if you can see me, leave me a comment. Say, "Hi, Jad, how you doing?" Let me know that you can hear me. Let me see everybody's comments, and we're going to get started in a second. So if you just joined me right now, today's presentation is the 5 steps to dating the women that you're truly attracted to. So what we're going to talk about today is if you've been stuck not getting the results you want with women. Today we're going to clarify why you've been stuck, what are the unconscious mistakes you have been making, and what is the strategy you can do instead to start getting results and get unstuck. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, leave a comment below. Let me know. Revenger079, hey, what's up? Let me know what city you're in, what country you're in, what time is it there, and I'm excited to get started. So we'll get started very, very soon. Thanks, Revenger. We're going to get started very soon. Today, we're going to talk about all right, London, UK. Nice, nice, close by. Thanks for watching. We're gonna cover some amazing things today. I'm so excited to share what I have to share with you today because I believe that with the information that I'm going to give you today, with the 5 steps, the 5 strategic, I truly believe you can get unstuck and start getting the results you want with women. Drizzy, what's up from Miami? All right. What's up, Nigel? All right. Thanos. All right. Okay. So great. So let's get started. I'll just take a sip of water and let's get started. So, how do you date women that you're truly attracted to? So, this presentation is about that. So give me a comment if you can relate to the fact that um, sometimes you can attract some women, but when it comes to talking to those really hot, sexy women, then that's where you kind of freeze up. You're able to attract some women, but not the women you truly want. What's up from Bangladesh? Nice to see you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So who is this presentation for? All right, I'm very excited. Look, if you've been stuck for 1 year or more, this presentation is going to help you, and the 5 strategies I'm going to give you today are going to help you get unstuck. So if you've been stuck for 1 year or more, this is the presentation you want to watch. If you've been stuck for 3 or 4 or even 5 years, the strategy, the roadmap that I'm going to give you, the 5 step system that I'm going to give you has helped guys who have been stuck up to 8 years. They have gotten unstuck using what I'm about to teach you today. All right. This presentation is for you if you're sick of just dating women that you're not that into and you really want to date women that you're truly attracted to. This is for you. Today's presentation is for you if you want to find your dream woman, if you want to find that quality girl that you want to have a long-term relationship with and really, start building a life with, then you're in the right place. And you're in the right place. This presentation is for you if you're sick of all the time wasting, unhelpful bullshit information out there about how to get women that's not really helping you in your life, and you just want a simple step by you've been wanting. So, we'll be together for about 45 minutes, and I'm going to teach you this life-changing 5 step strategy. And I promise you, if you implement it inside your life, you're going to have a transformation. All right. And I thrive off of interaction. So Keep the comments coming, guys. I may not be able to reply to all of them, but I am seeing your comments as they come up. Let me just take a look here. And yeah, I see your comments. So just, the more engaged you are, the more engaged I'm going to be. And we're going to have some fun. So before I get started, in case you're not that familiar with my story, let me just spend a few minutes telling you who I am, where I came from, and how I came to start coaching guys. All right, from California, US. Thanks for the comment. So I grew up very shy. All right. I'm what you can call an extreme introvert. All right. I was scared of my own shadow. Not only was I shy of women, but I was just shy around people in general. And honestly, I felt like I was living inside this invisible prison where I wanted to talk to people, I wanted to talk to girls. I liked girls from a very young age, like from the age of 10, 11, 12. Like I can't remember back to when I didn't like girls, right? But I was terrified. I loved them so much, but at the same time, I was downright terrified of them. And I was so shy that I couldn't even have just the most normal basic conversation with a girl. And I grew up, my father was absent. He was a businessman and he was always gone in other countries for work most of the time. And so I was raised by my mother. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate that if you're raised by your mother, you don't get taught those important life lessons that only a man can teach another man, that a father should teach his son. And so I grew up missing a lot of these man to man lessons on how to be a man and how to talk to women. And so when I reached my teenage years and I wanted to start dating, well, I, I didn't know what to do. I had this overwhelming shyness, anxiety, social anxiety, fear, insecurity, feelings of unworthiness. And I had no one to help me. I had nowhere to turn, right? And so for years I struggled, and for years I missed opportunities. And over the years, I missed dozens and dozens and dozens of opportunities with dozens of women just because I was too insecure, or I was too shy, or I was too afraid to approach women. So it was really a struggle for many years. And I can't tell you my whole story because that would take hours. But um, basically, I got to a point in my life where, I got rejected. I remember this one time where I liked this girl, and we started seeing each other and going out, and I thought she liked me, right? And one day she invited me to this party, and at this party there was this bad boy. And to make a long story short, I realized that was just using me to make this bad boy jealous. And she invited me to this party where I sat at a table the whole night, and she went and she started arguing and having this whole drama with the bad boy. Basically, she used me. I was the nice guy chump that she used, that she wasn't interested in, just to get back at some other guy. So, I mean, that's just one story. I have all these stories where finally I just got sick of not having this handled. And so I made a decision to do whatever it took to get this part of my life handled. And then I spent the next 5, 10 years studying everything I could study, going out, talking to women, doing everything I had to do until I finally got this woman thing handled. And today, fast forward, I'm in a relationship with my dream girl. I've dated the kinds of women that I'm truly attracted to. And ever since 2011, I've been a full time dating coach. And I have now helped dozens and dozens of men going from being completely stuck to being able to attract, date, and have relationships with the women they're truly attracted to. So if those guys could do it, if I could do it, you can do it too. And the reason why I do what I do is because no one was there for me when I was struggling. And so I want to be the man who's there for you. I want to help you get unstuck, and I want you to date the women that you truly want. I want you to have a quality life full of beautiful women because I believe that you deserve that. You deserve love and intimacy in your life. And I want to tell you this. We'll jump into the content in a second, but I want to tell you this, brother. Those years where I was trying to figure this out, it felt like I was walking through this desert and I was thirsty and I was tired and I didn't know how much more I had left in me before I just collapsed. So if you're walking right now, if you're running on fumes, if you're sitting there running on hope and you feel like you're in that desert and you keep walking and you think you're going to get there, but then the desert's you don't know how big that desert is. I want to tell you that I went through that. There were days where I just felt like I was walking through this desert and I'm like, how big is this desert? Am I going to collapse and die before I get through to the other side? But I kept going. I kept taking step after step after step. And I promise you this, if you keep going, if you persevere, if you persist, you will get to the other side. All right? So have faith. With my help, I'm going to help you today. I'm going to give you an amazing strategy that's going to give you a map out of that desert. Another analogy is if you feel like you're bumping up against an invisible wall, I'm going to help you break through that invisible wall and get to the other side where you're attracting women on a consistent basis and you're dating the quality, the kind of women you want to date. Okay? So I've been there, and that's why I believe I can really help you. Okay, so in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to give you a no bullshit formula for getting this woman thing handled once and for all. All right? You're going to get your power back so you never have to worry about ending up alone or dating women that you don't want to, that you're not really attracted to. Okay? I'm going to show you the solution for getting over your paralyzing fear. So if you suffer with being overwhelmed and freezing and not being able to approach, I'm going to teach you why that fear is happening and how to prevent it from happening. There's actually something you're doing right now that is accidentally creating fear in you. So I'm going to teach you how to overcome that. All right. I'm going to show you how to crash through that invisible wall that's blocking you from getting dates with these sexy, beautiful women that you see around you every day. All right. I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a very natural, authentic way that doesn't force you to do anything ridiculous or anything that violates your values or your integrity. Okay. And using these methods I'm about to outline, you're going to be able to attract beautiful women by being yourself, by being the authentic you. So we're not going to do any weird, I'm not going to ask you to be anything you're not. All right. My promise to you is this. Today, I'm going to give you a step by step strategy for getting unstuck so you can start bringing attractive women into your life consistently. So, does this sound like you? And if you see me looking off camera, it's because I've got some notes here to keep me, snappy and brief. Okay. Um, Okay, thanks for the comment. Yes, it's not only about women, it's about learning about yourself. Exactly. We're going to talk about that today. This is on getting good with women is also about getting like improving yourself. So very good point. Exactly. That's what we're talking about here, all right? So does this sound like you? Do you start off every day wondering where you're going to meet the ideal woman you're wanting to start a relationship with? Are you frustrated because you can comfortably talk to normal women, but you freeze up around the really hot ones? Are you sick of casual dating? Are you at the point where you want something more serious, more fulfilling? You want to find a woman that you're truly attracted to? Are you secretly worried that it may be too late? This is a common worry for a lot of you guys. And I tell you, it's never too late. If you got breath, you got time, all right? Do you fear that you may never find your dream girl and you'll have to settle for a woman you're not genuinely attracted to? Do you, okay, we said that you feel like you're trapped. And do you wish you had someone to share your life with? Life is so much better when you have someone to share it with. So do you feel like there's an invisible wall keeping you from dating these beautiful women? Okay? Have you ever had this thought? There are all these beautiful women all around me. I, I just want one. Can I just get one of those? If I just got one, it would make all the difference. And I'll tell you, man, you're just one woman away, one girl away from changing your life, man. So please persist. All right. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Why aren't you getting what you want with women? The real problem is that you're using the wrong strategy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay? You're using the wrong strategy. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you don't have, you're not interesting enough. It's not because you don't have it's not because you need more money or more muscles. You're just using the wrong strategy. Okay? Once you shift your strategy, you're going to be able to have complete control over getting the women you want to get. All right? Once you have the right strategy, you're going to be able to get the women that you're truly attracted to. So, let me share the 5 strategies with you. All right? That's what this is about. These 5 steps are the exact 5 steps that I take my coaching clients through, and that is what gets them unstuck. All right? So, you're about to learn the 5 steps, the 5 proven steps that I've taken dozens of men through to get them from being stuck to now getting results with women. These are the 5 key strategic shifts you must make in order to start dating the women you're truly attracted to and turning those dates into long-term relationships. Okay? This is going to make the entire seduction absolutely enjoyable for you. And that's key, because if it's not fun, if this game is not fun, you're going to stop. You're not going to enjoy doing it. What I'm going to share with you is going to make the game more enjoyable. So, mindset shift number 1. Okay. So, what happens? What's your reflex when you're not getting success with women? Your reflex is that you start to try harder. You start approaching more. You start trying harder. You start reading more information. You start trying harder. That's the reflex. But what if trying harder isn't the answer? Furthermore, what if trying harder is actually the problem? Leave in the comments right now. Have you tried harder but still remained stuck? Who here has experienced that? You've tried harder but still you don't get the result you want. I'm going to share a story with you, all right? It's a story about a fly on a windowsill. And it goes like this. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of a window pane. The winding wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder, but it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could be free of this It would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in onto the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it is an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may offer, it may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. Now, listen to this. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough by trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. Okay, and thank you for the comments. I saw your comments saying, yeah, big time, tried harder, still stuck. Yeah, exactly. So, that story of the fly, that's the story of all of us. That's the story of so many men all around the world trying harder, but only remaining stuck. You see, the myth is that if I accumulate more information, if I approach more women, if I just go out and try harder and harder, if I watch more videos, then I'm going to get a breakthrough. But the truth is, the sad truth is, a lot of people are already doing that, but still not getting the results they want. All right? The truth is this: if more information, more videos was your answer to getting a breakthrough, you would have broken through by now because there is an abundance of information out there. The truth is, trying harder, accumulating more information, doing more of the same is not going to get you anywhere. All right? Trying harder is actually part of your problem. Accumulating more information is part of your problem. So, what do you need to do? Okay? If your strategy, you're like the fly, you're bumping up against an invisible wall. The fly is bumping up against an invisible wall too, called the window. So, this is where there's a saying by Einstein. It says, you cannot solve a problem at the same level of thinking that it was created. So, right now, you're trying to solve this problem of I'm stuck with women by accumulating more information, more information, more information. What I'm saying is you have to change your strategy. Okay, you need to change your strategy. Accumulating more information is like the fly bumping up against the wall trying harder. What you need to do is like the fly needs to do is that there's a wide open door on the other side of the room. You need to turn around and fly a few meters and boom, fly out the door. So, the first thing I want to wake you up with is this: more information is the wrong strategy. More information on its own, in isolation, is not enough. That's the wrong strategy. If all you're doing is accumulating more information, you're like the fly bumping up against the invisible wall, the window. What you need to do is you need to shift your strategy. And the next 4 points in this presentation are going to tell you exactly the things that you need to do in order, like the fly, to go and fly through the wide open door to get that breakthrough. You need to change your level of thinking. You need to change your strategy. You need to make a shift. All right? So, point number one in this 5-part formula is it's not that you need to try harder, it's that you need to shift your strategy and change. I got distracted by some comments. I love you too. Thank you for the comments. All right. So, okay. So, number one is this. Oh, I got a donation. I didn't even know I could get donations. Thank you. Okay. So, it's not about trying harder, it's about shifting your approach. Trying harder is on this level of thinking. You need to raise your level of thinking and do something different. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You need to change your strategy. And the 4 steps, I'm going to give you 4 strategic things you're going to do differently from now on. And once you change your strategy, you change your life. All right. So, trying harder, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do something different. And when you do something different, you change the results. How are you liking the presentation so far? Who here has just joined? What country are you in? Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling good? I'm so happy to be talking to you guys. Whoever gave me a donation right now, I really appreciate it. What a kind gesture. Thank you very much. Okay, so point number two. Point number two. This is something that this is a strategic tactical error I know that you're making that's keeping you stuck. Okay. I'm going to play fortune teller right now. And someone's here just to practice their English. Well, you're going to learn something today, my friend. All right. So I'm going to play fortune teller right now. And even if I've never seen you, I've never met you, and I don't know anything about you, I predict that I'm going to be able to, that what I'm going to say right now, you're going to be like, oh, Jad, you're right. Oh, that's me. That's me. Oh, Jad, how does he know that about me? How does he know that about me? I know if you've been stuck for 1 year or more, not getting the results you want with women, I know something about you, my dear. And it's this: you are going at this woman thing alone. That's right. I know that about you. You're not masterminding. You probably don't have a wingman. You don't have a best friend you're going out with. You don't have a group of friends. You're not socializing regularly. You stay to yourself. You keep to yourself a lot. And you're going at this woman thing predominantly alone. And I will tell you that that is one of the biggest strategic errors that keeps men stuck. A common pattern amongst all men who have been stuck, not getting the results they want for women for 1 year or more, is that all these men, without exception, or let's say 99% of these men, are going at it alone. So tell me if I just described you right now. Am I a fortune teller or not? I'm right. I know I'm right. So I actually want to grab the book Think and Grow Rich. Let's go together and grab that book because I want to tell you a little something about that book. Yeah, Brian, I'm a fortune teller. Big art, yes. Yes. GL, absolutely. You see, I know what's holding you back because it's all in patterns. It's all in patterns, right? It's not an accident. Success is predictable and failure is predictable. If you do the same thing that people who fail do, you're guaranteed to fail. If you do the same thing that rich or successful people do, you're guaranteed to succeed. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it that I just kind of made that up, that people that who go at things alone fail. All right. It's no coincidence that because you've been going at it alone, that's why you failed. So if we go back one step, I said that trying harder isn't the answer and more information isn't the answer. Part of the reason why it's not the answer is because in order for you to succeed, you need to succeed. Success requires teamwork. All right. I got ahead of myself. Let me prove this to you by using this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So, in case you're not familiar, this is one of the most popular books that all successful people point to. I recommend you read it. But stay with me now. I'm going to give you a lesson that's very valuable for the rest of your life. Even if you read this book, you might miss this. So, me explaining it to you is going to give you that much more understanding when you do pick this book up. All right. So, what I'm going to talk to you about is the mastermind principle. But before I tell you about the mastermind principle, let me tell you how this book came about, the story. So, the story of the author, Napoleon Hill, is Napoleon Hill was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie, who was one of the richest men in the world at the time. Andrew Carnegie commissioned Napoleon Hill. He said, Napoleon, I'm going to give you access to my Rolodex of the richest men in the world. I want you to spend the next 25 years interviewing 500, yes, 500 of the most successful men in the world. And I want you to find the patterns of success. What makes men successful? And then put those patterns down in a book so people can have a philosophy to follow on how to become successful. So, after 25 years of studying 500 of the most successful and richest men in the world, Napoleon Hill came to this groundbreaking realization. Out of the 500 of the richest men in the world, what he found one commonality amongst all of them. And the commonality was this: Napoleon Hill said that without exception, there wasn't a single successful man who reached his success alone. I'm pausing there. Let's say it again. After 25 years studying 500 of the most successful men in the world, he found that not a single successful man reached success alone. Not a single man. And so he called this the mastermind principle. All right? The mastermind principle states that no man can achieve great success or wealth alone. All right? So this book is called Think and Grow Rich, but it also teaches you how to be successful. It's not only about money. So coming back to women, why was I able to predict with 100% accuracy that you were going at this alone? Because if you've been stuck for 1 year or more, then of course you're going at it alone because you're not implementing a fundamental principle of success. I have been in the study, I model successful people, all right? And I also observe my own success. And when observing myself, my past success with women, as well as dozens of other men who are successful with women, the pattern I found without exception is that none of them, including myself, did it alone. We all had a support system. We all had wingmen. We all had friends. We all had mentors. We all did it as a team effort. So, error number one in your strategy for getting this woman thing handled and having women in your life is that you're going at it alone. If you continue to go at this thing alone, you will perish. You will not get to where you want to go. We are talking about laws. Success follows laws. All right. Another word for a law is a principle. The principles of success are not flexible. All right. We live in a world of laws. We have a gravity. If I drop this book, it always falls. Why? Because the law of gravity always applies. It doesn't matter what we drop. Let's say this is a good person. If we drop a good person off a cliff, they fall. Let's say it's a bad person. We drop the bad person off a cliff, they fall. Why? Because gravity does not err. Gravity, whoops, gravity is a law that is constant. Similarly, with you, there is a constant law of success is that no man succeeds alone. Let this represent the person. No man succeeds alone. All right? Principle of success says that it takes two or more people, a teamwork of two or more people, also known as a mastermind, in order for success to be created. All right? So, what I'm going to tell you is this. If you are going to be so arrogant as to think that you are going to be the exception of this law, then, nobody's going to, all right, Philly, thank you. Hype views. Thanks for the comment. Yeah, man, this is important stuff. This is life-changing stuff. You are not going to be the one who's going to be the exception. All right. Thinking that you can go at it alone, like, oh, everybody else, the 500 people that Napoleon Hill studied for 25 years needed help, but I'm going to be that special, unique snowflake that's going to get it alone, is the equivalent of a man saying, gravity works on everyone else, but I'm going to walk off this cliff and I'm not going to fall. No, bro, it's a law. This is you. You're walking off a cliff, you're falling. Same. You're going at this game like this, you're failing. All right? No man succeeds alone. So that's the first strategy, that's the first mental shift that we want you to have. Okay? So we said in point number 1, it's not about trying harder, it's about changing your strategy. So strategy number 1, you need to change from going at it alone to going at it with a team. with a wingman, with mentors, with coaches, with friends, not alone. Those who go alone perish. I've been teaching since 2011. I've had fans on YouTube, and no offense to some of my fans, but they'll tell me, "Hey, Jad, I've been following you for 5 years." And I ask them, "Hey, have you gotten unstuck?" And they say no. And I say, "Did you hire a coach? Did you get a mentor?" No. Why don't you? I don't know. And they stay stuck. The guys, I don't care how long you watch videos for, how long you study this. If you're going at it alone, you're dead. All right, you're dead in this game. All right, so let me look at the um, notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. Is this helping? Have you learned something? Did you get a little mini epiphany so far? Are you excited for the 3 remaining points? Okay, I have an analogy here. So, going at life alone, um, Tiber, great. Renzo, yes. Nelson, helpful. Very. Thank you. Okay, so going at it alone in life or with women is kind of like playing against an American football team. Whoa, $20 donation. I didn't even know you guys could donate. Thank you so much, Diesel. Wow, I'm so touched. $27. Oh, bro, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even know it was possible. That's so sweet of you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so an analogy of going at it alone is like playing by yourself against an entire NFL football team. All right, the chances of you winning are pretty much zero. Okay, so going at life alone, um, going at life alone is kind of like playing one person against the whole football team. All right, so not a good plan. Not a good plan at all. Okay, so um, that was the first shift you need to make from going alone to going at it as a team. I promise you, you do that, and it's not only going to increase your chances of success, but it's also going to be funner, more fun. All right, so um, next point, we're going to talk about how information overload causes paralysis. So, Um, Ball Flake, thank you for the question. I'll try to get to it at the end of the presentation because it doesn't really fit in. So this is going to really help you if you get paralyzed by fear. If you see a woman over there and you want to go talk to her, but then you get stuck. All right. So fear is the biggest blocker for many men. All right. A lot of times we see a girl, but then we freeze. Right. We're like, excuse me. We're like, wow, I really want to talk to her, but but why do we freeze? Um, why do we? What causes this paralysis? And what I discovered is what causes your fear is a combination of overwhelm and, well, let's put it this way. What's causing your fear is overwhelm. All right. The reason you freeze is 2 reasons. Number one, you have a lot of conflicting information in your head. And number two, um, you just have too much information. So the moment when you want to go approach a girl, you're like, should I approach her right away? Coach A said, don't hesitate, go approach a woman right away. But Coach B said, oh no, you got to sit back, relax, assess the situation, and then approach when it's the right time. But Coach C said, never approach. You have to wait for a woman to come to you. What should I do? Should I do what Coach A said, what Coach B said, what Coach C said? And then you get overwhelmed, and then you get confused, and then you have all this conflicting information in your brain. And by the time you even decide what you're going to do, the opportunity's gone. right? So the thing, Eric, what's up? Thank you. So the thing that makes you hesitate is that this overwhelming information. Okay. Um, uh, so um, there's a great analogy. Okay, so uh, I call it the lion and the stool. So back in the days with the circus and the lion tamers, the lion tamer used to be able to control a lion with a four-legged stool. All right, a stool that had four legs. So for those of you who English isn't your first language, a stool is something like you sit on, like a bench, right? So the what he would do is if the lion came at him, he would point this four-legged stool at the lion, and the lion would just like get paralyzed with fear, right? And why is that? Why would a lion be intimidated by a stool? Well, it turns out that a lion perceives perceives each foot of the stool as a separate threat. And when you point four legs of the stool at the lion gets overwhelmed because it perceives four separate threats and it doesn't know what to do, and so it just freezes. Well, the same thing is happening with you when you want to go and approach a woman. You want to see that you want to approach that woman, but then you have all this jumbled up random information in your mind, which is like the four foots of the stool, and you get overwhelmed. Okay, so your problem is that you're living in a time of information overload, and you've gathered information from so many different sources, so many different coaches that it's overwhelming, it's not organized, it's random, and it's even conflicting because different coaches have different philosophies. Some coaches tell you go approach, some other coaches tell you, hey, lean back, some other coaches tell you be direct, others tell you be indirect. And so you have all this jumbled up mess, and that is predominantly what is causing your paralysis. All right. So, what is the solution to getting rid of your fear and your paralysis? The solution is to get rid of all this conflicting information. I call it one system, one coach, 1 year. All right, let me do this. One system, one coach, 1 year. What we have found in our coaching, in my coaching over the years, what I have found is that actually less information from only one system, one coach, is what causes men to have a breakthrough. So the second strategy that you're doing wrong is that you are gathering random information from different sources, from different systems, and that is causing confusion and overwhelm in your brain, which is then causing you to not know what to do in those situations where it matters most. So let me give you an analogy to make all of this make sense. All right. Let's say we're building an engine. All right. Let's say we're building an engine and we start taking random pieces from random different brands. So we take the carburetor of a Toyota, we take the transmission of a Ferrari, we take the cooling fan of a Honda Civic, we take the brakes from an Acura, we take uh, whatever. I'm not that good with cars. What did I not say? The gearbox of a BMW, and so on. And so on and so forth. We take all these different pieces from all these different brands of cars, and then we clump it together. Do we then have a high performance engine, or even an engine that turns on at all? No. Why? Because the pieces don't fit because they're from different systems. Similarly, when you're getting information from coach A, information from coach B, information from coach C, and then you're combining them, that all this different information does not then make a working system. All right? It doesn't. It just makes, just like an engine with random parts, it just makes a clump of iron and metal and rubber that doesn't do anything. You see? So Your mistake is mixing systems. If you took only all the information of Coach A and put it together, it works in a perfect system of high performance. If you take only Coach B's information and don't mix it and just combine that, then cars don't use carburetors anymore. Thank you. That's how clueless I am about cars. All right, that will make a perfect system, but you can't mix systems. So, does that make sense? You can't mix systems. And when you mix systems, you don't get a more powerful system. You just get a clump of hunk of junk that doesn't really work. All right? Okay. Thank you, ATL Nelson. So, your solution is actually less information, not more. One system, one coach, 1 year. You're going to get a lot further using one system from one coach for 1 year than you are from just random information that you're trying to clump together that's not going to create anything. It's not a system that you have there, it's a jumbled up hunk of mess and confusion. All right? Is that making sense? Did that make sense? So let me tell you a story. For example, with one of my clients, I'm going to call him Steve because I keep my clients' names and information confidential, obviously. Um, so Steve came in and he was stuck. He wasn't able to get the results he wanted with women. He had so much junk in his head from all these different dating advice guys that he just didn't know what to do. So the first thing I did with him, the first question I ask everyone that I coach is like, how many other dating coaches are you following? How many other systems are you following? Then what we do is we say, okay, you're going to go on an information diet. You're not going to read you're not going to listen to any other coach. You're not going to read any other ebook. You're not going to watch any videos. You're just going to go on an information diet. And we're going to just, strip all that away and find out what is your specific personality, what are your specific values, what's the method that what's a way that you want to start meeting women, a method that is in alignment with your personality, and then we start from scratch. And actually less information is more it helps is more helpful, right? So then I get the guys to commit one coach, one system for 1 year. And when they commit, they start getting the breakthroughs. And on average, between 3 to 6 months, we have huge breakthroughs where guys were previously stuck for 3 to 5 years, accumulating all this random information. We get them on an information diet, having them with one coach, one system for 1 year, and we're seeing the breakthroughs really quickly. All right. So you have to follow one system, not a bunch of systems. Uh, just like with the fly, trying harder was part of the problem, right? It was part of the problem that he was trying harder and he died there on the windowsill because he was trying harder. Part of your problem, the thing that is actually causing you fear and paralysis, is the overwhelm of information. The more random, key here is random information. The more random information you're going to continue to collect, the more fear and overwhelm and confusion you are installing into your brain. So, cut it out, basically, is what I'm saying. All right. So, okay, so we'll close with this. Information overload is kind of like the lion with the stool. He sees the 4 different points and he gets overwhelmed. The way to simplify this for you, one system, one coach, 1 year, you're going to get a lot faster. You're going to break through that invisible barrier and get the success you want once you just have one. I promise you that. Okay, and we said you can't mix systems. Mixing systems doesn't make a bigger system. It just makes a hunk of a hunk of garbage. All right. Um, yeah, that's enough of that. Okay, so we're gonna move on to strategy number 4, which is this is gonna be a huge shift for you. So let's just recap quickly what we went through. So we first said Don't be like the fly on the window. Don't just try harder. Trying the same thing, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Turn around and fly through the door, meaning you need to shift your strategy. And I'm giving you new strategies. Strategy number one, use the mastermind principle. Always go at success with someone else. If you go at it alone, you are sure to lose. Number two, we said the reason why you're paralyzed with fear is because of the overwhelm of too much random information. What we said is you can't mix systems. You have to have one system, one coach for 1 year. When you do that, when you simplify, when you go on an information diet, that's when you get the breakthroughs. Now, the third strategic shift that you're going to make to get unstuck and start getting the results you want with women is sorry, I was just reading the comments. Give me a second. Okay, let me start it another way. Now we're going to talk about the silent killer. So if you are multitasking, now is the time to pay attention. So what I'm about to share with you now, this strategic mistake is perhaps one of the biggest causes of failure that I see in men. And that is not taking care of your blind spot. So let me talk about blind spots. What is a blind spot? A blind spot is a mistake that you don't know that you're making. All right. Um, any man who has been stuck for 1 year or more has a series of blind spots. A blind spot is an unconscious mistake that you're consistently making, which is sabotaging your success with women. All right. So a lot of times, actually, every time a guy comes to me for coaching, excuse me, every time a guy comes to me for coaching, the conversation goes something like this. Hey, Jad, I'm not getting the results I want with women because I have X, Y, and Z problem. All right. He thinks, for example, hey, Jad, I'm not getting with women because I'm not talkative enough. I don't, what are some common ones? I'm not talkative enough. I'm too shy. And I don't know how to take things to the next level. All right. So he thinks he has these three problems, and he's been trying to correct these problems for the past 3 years. However, after 5 or maximum 10 minutes of speaking to him, I realized that the problems he thinks he has aren't really the problems, aren't really the reasons women are rejecting him. After 5 minutes, usually, sometimes 10. Oh, my earphones are going to cut out. Let me change. I realized that what he thinks are his problems aren't really his problems, and I say, hey man, actually those three things aren't your blind spots. Actually, what's making women reject you is A, B, and C. um, so you don't know what your blind spots are is the point, right? You really don't. So let me just change to my wired earphones. Okay, so let me know if you can still hear me. Let me charge my AirPods. These things don't really last that long when you use the microphone. Can you still hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay, so here's the deal with blind spots. I give this analogy. Let's say you and I were standing outside of a shopping mall, and I said, I'm going to give you $1,000,000 if you can go in and choose the item I'm thinking about and bring it out. And you can have as many tries as you want, all right? You can try for the next 10 years. You have a 10-year limit, all right? Go in, get the thing from the mall. You're going to say, what thing? I'll say, go in the mall and get the thing. So you go in the mall, you grab everything you can possibly carry, and you come out to the parking lot. And you say, Jad, is this the thing you're thinking about? I say, no. Is this the thing you're thinking about? I say, no. This the thing you're thinking? No. Okay. You go run back in the mall, come back out,
Jad, is this the thing you're thinking about? No. Is this the thing you're, okay? After, let's say, a week or 10 days or whatever, you're exhausted and you're like, okay, you're collapsed on the ground. Everything you guessed was wrong. And you're like, okay, Jad, what was the thing? What was the thing that I was supposed to guess? And then I tell you, I was thinking about the third rusted screw on the back and the top of the mall, on the mall sign of the A of the mall sign. I was thinking about that. So as you see, that was something you didn't know that you didn't know, right? Could you have guessed that? Maybe, but it could have taken you your whole life, could have taken years, or maybe you would have never guessed it. So a blind spot is very similar to that. And the reason why you've been stuck for a year or more is simply because you have a set of blind spots that you don't know you have. So the next question that comes up is like, okay, Jad, well, if I have a blind spot and it's been holding me back, then how can I find it? And there are only two ways to find a blind spot, really. The first way is very painful. You go out there, you try over and over and over, and you collect tons and tons of rejection. And finally, slowly, with each rejection, each painful mistake, you slowly realize, oh, that's what I was doing wrong. Oh, that's what I was doing wrong. That's what I was doing wrong. The second way that is 1,000 times faster is that you hire a coach or you get a mentor who meets with you, speaks with you and says, okay, what results are you getting with women? Tell me about how you're interacting with women. Tell me what happened with women. Okay, I see what you're doing wrong. Boom, boom. This is your blind spot. 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 Okay? So the thing is like someone who's already figured this out, he can look at you and he can immediately identify your blind spots. Like, for example, with me, this is my job. I've been coaching full-time since 2011. And after talking to someone for 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes, boom, 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 I'm pointing out all their blind spots. Because like I told you before, success follows patterns. Failure follows patterns. By asking you very strategic and specific questions, and by hearing your answers, I can identify what your blind spots are very easily, quickly, and accurately because I've been doing it for so long and because I've been there before myself, right? So, and here's what you need to understand about accumulation of information. Accumulation of information doesn't necessarily reveal your blind spots. That's why someone can be watching my YouTube videos since 2011, and I do really cherish my viewers who stay with me for so many years. However, unfortunately, there are some viewers who have been following me for years. Alexander, thank you for the donation, bro. I really appreciate it. Very sweet of you. Unfortunately, those guys who have been following me for years, they're still stuck because they never hired a coach to point out their blind spots. So just again, this comes back to point number one of how you need to change your strategy, right? Just flying up against an invisible, against the window harder like the fly isn't the answer. You need to do something completely different. Well, accumulating information isn't the answer to revealing your blind spots. Maybe it will reveal some of them, but ultimately you need someone to reveal the blind spots, because the truth is you don't have one or two or three blind spots. You have dozens upon dozens, and you have layers upon layers of blind spots. And when somebody coaches you over a period of weeks or months, they're knocking out those blind spots. They're like one after the other, layer by layer by layer. All right, let's take the analogy of a tennis coach. Let's say I want to improve my backswing. All right, well, if I'm just trying to improve my backswing on my own and I don't have a coach to give me feedback, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, right? But let's say I hire a world-class coach. Well, he's going to say, okay, show me your backswing. A couple of times I do it and he's like, okay, I see exactly what you're doing. You're moving your wrist like a quarter of an inch when you hit the racket. Keep it stiff. You're pointing it a bit down. Keep it a bit like this. I see when you're hitting the racket, you're not following through all the way. He's pointing out all these little things. What you need to understand, it's that the difference between, it's like the devil's in the details. It's not that you're making a huge mistake and that's what's keeping you from being good with women. No, it's all these little things that you just need minor adjustments on, that would give you the results you want. All right, that would correct your backhand, so to speak. But I could, my backhand would never really be perfect until my coach pointed it out and pointed out all those little things about it. Similarly with women, until you get someone to point, a mentor, someone who's been there ahead of you, to point those things out, you're always going to be blind to them. And then you're going to be wondering, why are women rejecting me? And it's not because you're doing these huge mistakes. It's that you're doing these little mistakes and you're completely unconscious to them. All right? So the conclusion of this is one of the biggest strategies you can make in your life to go, look, I've worked with so many people that have been stuck for 5 years. I just got a guy who graduated who was stuck for 8 years. And then he came and worked with me, and within 7 months, he's getting girls, bringing them back home, doing all this stuff. 8 years versus 7 months. Why? Because blind spot after blind spot after blind spot, we knocked them out methodically. I gave him that outside feedback that he was blind to before. And he said, Jad, without you, I never could have done this. I never could have done this, definitely not as fast. And this has changed my life. Thank you so much. So it's if you want to change your life, you need someone to point your blind spots. All right. So, and information alone doesn't do that. All right. You need a mentor. You need a coach. So, how's it been so far? Have you learned something? Are you now seeing how you have to shift your strategy? How more information on its own isn't going to help you? How you have to mastermind with one or more person? How you have to Revenger, thank you for asking. In terms of coaching, I'm going to mention something in a bit. We're going to get to that in a second. Never walk the path alone, okay? One system, one mentor, 1 year, and you need someone outside of you to point out your blind spots if you really want to stop being stuck. If you like being stuck, if you want to spend more years gambling away your life, looking for your blind spot, this is a good analogy. Looking for your blind spot alone is the same as, those lottery balls with all those little balls inside, reaching into those lottery things and hoping to pick out the winning ball. You might pick it out, but chances are you're not going to. It's like you're playing lottery with your life when you don't hire someone to help you look at your blind spot. All right, so strategy, the final strategy that I'm going to give you today that's going to give you that breakthrough in performance is this. Invest in a mentor. Everyone should have a mentor. Mentoring brings two things into your life. It brings insight and it brings accountability. When you are accountable to someone else, you're much more likely to take action. And when it comes to approaching women, when you have someone who's keeping you accountable, you're much more likely to, go through your fear and take all the action you need to take because you have someone to answer to. All right. So what is a mentor? A mentor is kind of like an autopilot on a plane. So I don't know if you guys know this, but a plane is off course 90%, I think something like 97% of the time. Okay? It's off course 97% of the time. What is the function of the autopilot? The autopilot is simply course correcting the plane during the flight all the way through until it finally lands safely on the runway. So a mentor is like the autopilot of a plane. I know you know a lot of stuff about seduction. I know that you understand the game. I know you've studied a lot and you get the psychology. However, you're making these unconscious mistakes. And what happens to a plane if the autopilot is broken? What happens if the plane is just a few degrees off and the runway is here? If the plane's just a few degrees off, boom, it's crashing into the ocean, right? Or into buildings or whatever. Well, similarly with you, you're close. You're very close because you have studied a lot of information about seduction, but you don't have an autopilot. Autopilot meaning a mentor course correcting you, right? You don't have that autopilot and you're just a few degrees off, boom, and you crashed into the building. You're a few degrees off, boom, you fell short of the runway. You're a few degrees off, boom, you ended up in China. Why? Because you're not getting that course correction that you need that's going to finally land you on the runway, land you at that result that you want. Okay? So, again, going back to um, a lot of coaching clients who hire me, the majority of them have been stuck for 3 to 5 years. Okay, because usually what happens is a guy tries to go at it alone for 3 to 5 years, and then finally he realizes what I'm explaining to you here is like, going at it alone doesn't work, right? I'm gonna need the mastermind principle. Going at it alone is a recipe for disaster. All this random jumbled up information is completely confusing me. I don't know what to do with all this information. And, I'm always falling short. I'm always, I'm never landing on the runway and I don't know why. I'm so close. I just need a little bit of help. But, alone, I'm just lost. It's just not working. All right. And I'm about to also share another very important tip about getting a mentor. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. You're the average confidence, you're the average success, you're the average income, you're the average health. Why? Because we are like photocopying machines. All right? We have something in our brains called mirror receptors. Mirror receptors. It turns out we cannot help but copy those people who are around us. So you can use these mirror receptors to your advantage or to your disadvantage. So why are we the 5 people? We are the average of the 5 people we hang out with. Well, it turns out because of these mirror receptors, if you hang out with 5 guys who are losers, or let's say 5 guys, let's not say losers, but let's say 5 guys who are not good with women. Well, your mirror receptors cannot help but start imitating these guys who are not good with women, and they bring you down by hanging out with them. All right? But you can use these mirror receptors to your advantage by hiring a mentor, and then the mentor is up here. He's good with women. He's ahead of you in the game. He's successful. Well, guess what these mirror receptors are going to start doing? They're going to start copying this mentor, this guy who's already mastered the game, and you're going to rise up. It's going to elevate you to his level. So the fastest way to success is to surround yourself with a guy who's already got this woman thing figured out, and then the mirror receptors in your brain will photocopy, like a photocopy machine, copy this, model it, and you will be elevated to success quickly. That's why the guys who get coaching go from being stuck for 5 years to getting results with women within 3 to 6 months, because their mirror receptors, they picked up all the success models, and we wiped out all their blind spots and we course corrected them, and all these things together came together into success. Success is emergent, meaning when all the success recipe, all the success ingredients come together, what happens is there's a perfect recipe and success emerges. So, if you want to get this part of your life handled, hire a coach, and that's the fastest, surest way that you are going to finally get the breakthrough that you want. All right? A good mentor is going to give you practical action steps, custom suited to your particular personality, and make sure that you act on them. A great mentor will also put together a powerful group of people all working towards similar goals to increase your success. All right? So so here's what you need to win. all right, in your life with women. Number one, you need to use the right strategy. Work smarter, not harder. All right. It's not about trying harder. It's about using the right strategy. It's about using the ingredients we talked about today. Number one, don't go at it alone. You need to use the mastermind principle. Alone, you will fail, but together, you will succeed. All successful people did it when they partnered with one or more person. The next strategy is one mentor, one system, 1 year. Stop mixing systems, stop mixing mentors. One system, one mentor, 1 year. The third thing is get somebody outside of you to observe you and point out your blind spots. You're not going to be able to find out your blind spots on your own, or if you do, it's going to take you months and probably years. And a lot of men never end up finding their blind spots and end up giving up on the game before they even get to the other side. Finally, invest in a mentor. Hire someone who's figured this out so they can be the autopilot for you and autocorrect and teach you and get you to land safely on that runway and get the results you want with women. So, is that making sense? Are you ready to change your strategy? Are you now going to stop just accumulating random information and start applying this step-by-step process and be intelligent and strategic moving forward? All right. Now, would you guys like to hear about how you can work with me? I like to ask permission first. All right. You guys have a choice. You can keep accumulating more random information. You can try harder. You can continue doing things alone. Or, you can try something different. All right. You can adopt a proven strategy that I've used on myself as well as dozens of my students. And you can mastermind with someone who's done it before and finally get this part of your life handled. All right. Thank you. So thank you for giving me permission. So here's how I can help. All right. I'm reading some slides here so I can say this correctly. I've set aside some time in the next couple of days to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas into your life today. Okay? Whatever your biggest challenges are, I've seen it and I know how to overcome it. On the session, I will work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to get you unstuck and get you dating the women you're truly attracted to. The cost of this is absolutely free, but it's not for everyone because my time is limited. So I'm going to tell you who this is for. Now, I apologize to you if you don't qualify for this, but I hope that the information has helped you. But here's who this is for. All right. These free sessions that I'm offering you today are for men 27 and older. Okay. You need to be someone who's holding down a full-time job. You have your life together. You have your finances together. You need to be a man of integrity, and you need to be a man who's really looking to finally, attract those quality women in your life. All right. So if that's you, book a session right now. All right. The way you book a session is you go to jadtjones.com/apply. Okay. If you qualify, if you're 28 and older, you're holding a full-time job, you have your life together, and you're ready to, make a jump, I'd love to jump on a call and help you. All right. jadtjones.com/apply. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this, the first reason is I'm doing this because I believe it's my duty to give back. All right. I've been blessed to break through and figure this out, and I know how tough it can be. So I want to be that mentor for you. I want to be that man for you to help you break through. And the second reason why I'm offering these free calls is I know that you might want my help to transform your love life. And if so, we can discuss it and see if it's a good fit for both of us. And if not, that's fine. Either way is fine. But if you want to get unstuck, you want to try something drastically, I've helped dozens of men just like you who have been stuck for years, just like you have, and we've helped them get unstuck. So I invite you to schedule a free breakthrough session with me. It would be my pleasure to talk to you. Go to jadtjones.com/apply, schedule a free breakthrough session, and we'll have a chat. So I look forward to speaking to you on the phone, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope you got some real concrete value and a concrete step-by-step game plan that you can use in your life to finally get unstuck and get this woman thing handled. So if there are any questions right now, I'm going to hang around for a few minutes in case there are any questions you have. And please let me know, did you enjoy the presentation? And thank you so much for the donations. That was so sweet and so considerate of you and so generous of you. I'm really touched and honored by your generosity to give back. The hallmark of a man is someone who gives more than he receives, someone who gives back, and someone who stands up for others and supports others. So, to you beautiful souls who donated, thank you so much, brothers. That's really cool of you. Thank you so much. All right. So, are there any questions, or shall I sign off? I'll just wait wait a little bit here. Live chat. Okay. Okay, so what are my plans for the next days? Well, my plans for the next days, we have a lot of the company is growing and we have a lot of exciting things happening in the background. So we're coming. We're Yusuf. Thank you. Do I coach individuals under 27? If you're holding a full-time job, you can inquire. One of the reasons why it's 27 and over is because you're going to need money to pay for the coaching and you're going to need money to go out and socialize. So if you're in not in a stable financial situation, it may be tough for you. Thanks for the donation, $5. I can okay, so I will get to your question about fake coaches in a second. So what I was saying is we have a lot of exciting things happening coming through the pipeline, new training programs. We're going to release some more programs for you guys who are younger and probably can't afford the higher price stuff. We're going to create communities. We're looking on how to create more live events that are, again, accessible to a wider range of people, not only the people who are part of my high-level coaching programs. So yeah, some exciting things coming through, and I'll be announcing those. Your username, something idiot, fake idiot, or stupid idiot, or whatever it is. Funny username. Can I click here? Stupid idiot. Okay, so I'm not going to badmouth any coaches, of course, but I will tell you how to identify fake coaches or coaches who probably won't help you as much as they claim or who may be a hindrance to you. So the first thing really, man, it's how does it feel? How do you feel when you're watching them, when they're talking to you, when they're what information they're sharing? You should feel more relaxed and at ease, and it should feel right. Like if you're listening to a guy and you know what, it feels right. I feel like this is a good person. Generally speaking, your intuition, your gut will be right about that person. Now, that's not always true, but most of the time, go with your feeling, okay? Don't, if someone seems very clever, but they don't feel right, I would say don't, be careful of that person because a person can be very clever, but if, maybe the feeling isn't right, then something's off there, all right? Another thing that I want to point out about a lot of coaches that people really they don't really take into account, and I'm sure that I was the first uh, dating advice coach in the world who combined the laws of seduction with the laws of success and combine them together. A lot of coaches don't do that. You'll hire them and they'll teach you only the laws of seduction, but they won't teach you the underlying laws of success. And if you don't know the principles of success, the principles of seduction kind of fall through. It's like building a building on a cloud. Okay, if you only have the laws of seduction, that's like building a building on a cloud. It's going to collapse. It's not really going to help somebody. But if you teach a man the laws of seduction coupled with, I call it married with the laws of success together, now you set him up to win. So for example, today, if you watch this back, or if you notice, I taught you how to get better with women. However, I built it on top of the laws of success, the principles of success, so that you can succeed in your life. All right. If I just said, hey, pick up this girl, here's the pickup line, here's this and here's that, but I didn't give you the foundation of success, that wouldn't have helped you in your life. So what I would caution you with is that a lot of dating coaches will only teach you half the puzzle, which is the laws of seduction, but they won't teach you the real solid how to practical turn this theory into real world practice that actually works out in the real world. I pride myself in the fact that I'm a high performance coach, which means that I really am a master and a student. I've been studying high performance for over a decade, and I marry laws of seduction with the laws of performance together. And that's why I have such a high success rate with my coaching clients. It's because I'm not only teaching them about women, I'm teaching them about how to take this information about women and implement it out in the real world to get real world results. Because man, in the end of the day, all we care about is results, right? We don't want to sit here and just philosophize and theorize, if that's even a word, about seduction. We want results. We want to go out and get a girlfriend. We want to go out and date the women that we're truly attracted to. We want to go out and stop being um, trapped by our fears. Sorry, I got distracted by a comment, right? Yeah, stupid idiot. Love the name. Oh, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, I read your other comment. Yeah, if the guy just, it's like he's reading off of a script all the time, you know, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I read off of a script for parts of this presentation, but that's just to make sure I said the right thing and to keep it brief. But if someone always seems like they're reading off a script, maybe we want to watch out for that, right? So, um, yeah, look for a coach that not only teaches you seduction, but is he able to teach you how to turn that into real world, uh, oops, real world application? Live chat. Oh, okay. Uh, okay, so I don't know how to pronounce your username, but yes, it's about enjoying the journey. Of course, it's about enjoying the journey. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying that eventually you want to get results, right? And if you have an incomplete formula, you're not going to get the results, and then it's not going to be fun. Getting the results is what makes it fun. The funnest thing is winning. The funnest thing is getting the results, getting the girls. Okay, so I'll wrap up. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for your loyalty to my channel. Thank you for watching me live. If you're watching a recording, thank you for watching the recording. I really appreciate all of you. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too, and I hope you got some real value out of it. So change your strategy. Don't be like the fly, trying harder. More information on its own is not enough. All right. You need to mastermind. You need to get someone to point out your blind spots. You need to hire a mentor, and don't gamble with your life hoping that you're going to randomly find your blind spots. It's literally like gambling. All right. Find someone qualified to point out your blind spots. It'll save you years off of your life. It will save your life. Okay. Um, Sorry, I'm just reading the notes, the comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments, but I'm gonna have to wrap it up. Hey man, if you can't keep a woman, it's because you have blind spots. You need some coaching. So give me a call. I'll point them out for you. I'll help you out. Thank you for watching, guys, and I wish you a good day, good night, and we'll see you soon. Take care.